Multitasking or focusing one task at one time?
See, in today's world, you have to be a multitasker. Otherwise, it's very difficult to, go up in the ladder.
जगन्नाथ महाप्रभु का हाथ, माँ का आशीर्वाद और मेरे स्टूडेंट्स और चाहने वालों का दुआ है मेरे साथ। नमस्कार, मेरा नाम है अरविंद दास और आज आपका दिन बनने वाला है बहुत खास। So welcome to the Corporate Brahmastra show. This is Arvind Das, your host as well as your dost. Today, in this very episode, I have invited a very special personality, a dynamic lady. She has more than 3 decades of work experience in corporate as well as in government sector. Yes, she is indeed a wonderful personality. She has been an alumni of XISS Ranchi, the college from where I did my PGDM. Of course, she is my super senior and she passed out way back in the 1990s. So presenting in front of you, the one and only Dr. Sanghamitra Nayak. Ma'am, how are you?
Yeah, fine. Arvind.
Welcome to my show.
Thank you so much for inviting me to the show, and I'm really looking forward to have a discussion with you.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. So let's get started with the discussion. So, ma'am, you have been a very seasoned person. You have more than 3 decades of experience in corporate and government. So, we have seen that there are times when certain experienced people having years of experience, still they are not able to produce desired results which are normally expected by the organizations. So, what do you think? Is competency important or experience important?
See, Arvind, it's a very general thing that one has to have a proper competency, proper knowledge or proper background of what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Experience comes later. But yes, I would say that with experience, your competency grows. The more you get experience, the more knowledge you gain, the more mature you become. You know how to handle people, you know how to handle projects. So it gives you an upper hand with experience. But simultaneously, you have to mentally grow in your other aspects, such as you should have the knowledge of your projects, you should know how to deal with people,
Yes.
you should have an understanding of what you're going to do. So that definitely competency is the key to any successful person. But I think both complement each other, both go hand in hand with each other.
Yeah.
So definitely with competency, with experience will definitely make a person better.
Wonderful, wonderfully answered, ma'am. So my next question is that you have already worked in ORMAS. You have worked in ORMAS for around 24 years. 24 years is indeed a long journey,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
So, ma'am, can you tell us that what are the top 3 learnings which you have got while working at ORMAS?
See, I joined ORMAS in way back in 1995, just having a 2.5 years experience in a corporate sector. So when I joined, it was actually very difficult because jumping from a corporate sector to a government sector, dealing with the government officials, that itself was a big challenge.
So initially you were into corporate?
Yeah, I was in a project actually. It was a rainfed farming project of Hindustan Fertilizer Corporation. So, but they were all corporate people from outside the country. It was basically a London-based project. So there the working style was different.
Okay.
The management was different. Here it was totally different because here you have to deal with purely government people.
Government.
So the mindset, the way of work culture is totally different. So that to adjust to that was itself a very big challenge. So definitely my learning would go like to work in such an environment definitely grounded me as a rural development professional. It helped me to understand the basics of what is actually happening in the ground and how to implement the government projects.
And you are also very grounded personality.
Yeah, I actually when I was...
We all can feel from the way you are communicating.
Yeah, so I've enjoyed my experiences in the field when I was working with the rural poor. So definitely I'll take this as my first learning is to actually, to work with the actual real rural people and to implement those projects. That is the first learning which I would take. Second learning, it gave an opportunity to, become an intermediary between the rural poor and the people, higher people, the upper boss,
Okay.
the management, that gives an edge to you to understand what they want and how do you implement.
You were very instrumental in
Yes,
bridging the gap.
yes, exactly. So because it's not always like these people go to the rural poor, but we were the connecting point to the rural poor. So it helped a lot to implement the programs in a better manner. Thirdly, we got an opportunity to work with different INGOs. I have worked with UNICEF, I have worked with UNDP when I was in the field. I have worked with local NGOs working in the state like Pradhan, then Madhyam Foundation. There's so many organizations. So this gives an opportunity to understand how to work with the NGO sector as well.
Yes.
And it most importantly, it gives you time and understanding to balance your house and your work. So my take would be that this period of 24 years has given me a lot of understanding of the people, and I love to bring a smile onto the face of a person. So if I do that, I think I have done my work as a rural development professional.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful, ma'am. And presently, I have also started smiling with the kind of answers you are giving, and I'm sure viewers also must be smiling at this point of time.
Yeah.
All right, ma'am. So let's move on to the next question. Well, you have also worked in corporate for some time, right?
Yeah.
And one of the companies in which you have worked is Grand Thornton.
Yes.
It's a company which I've already heard, and I've heard from one of my seniors from ITR. He is also currently working there, and I've heard very high about the company. So, ma'am, I would like to know more about this company. Like, what does it do? What are its products and services? And also, I want to know that which category students, I mean, students from which specializations can apply for jobs at this particular company?
Yeah, I worked in Grand Thornton Bharat LLP, as it is called. But it was a very small stint as a team leader. But however, the company does have a very big, it has a good reputation. It's one of the big fours, as we say about other organizations. And it's basically a professional organization, service organization, which provides opportunity or provide services in consulting, task, risk management, then your technology, infrastructure, all those things, and your legal part also they look after.
Okay.
So, but however, as you must be aware, like all the big fours also are entering into various projects of government sectors. So they have also entered into a project with Hindustan HDFC.
HDFC.
Yeah. So they are working. This is basically an agriculture-based project. Working with the FPOs, Farmers Producers Organizations.
Okay.
So in the project I was working in. So this is the first time they've entered into Orissa. They're working presently in 6 states. So this livelihood project is the first time they're doing. So this is basically what they do, and anybody actually can go to work in Grand Thornton. Anybody in the sense needed backgrounds for these sectors.
Freshers can apply?
Yes, or yes. No. Freshers also can apply. The experiences can apply. Like for this project example, I would like to say we had certain officials from retired, agriculture background people.
Okay.
So those people help actually to ground the project and to take it up. And the freshers are taken to do the base work. Because this was basically an SHG driven project. So SHG, self-help group driven project. So they had to do a lot of groundwork to actually bring get these FPOs, Farmers Producers Organization. Actually, those organizations comprises of 300 to 500 women in one particular fold. So that's a big number, and to get that you have to have a lot of ground people. So that there are a lot of ground people, there are middle level people, there are higher people, and then there are directors, and then they have senior people who actually look into the final take of the project. So it's no limitation as to what type of who can go into it. Depending on the project and the activities which they do, anybody can apply.
It's a diversified platform.
Yeah. They have a lot of platforms they take out regular basis. I think in DevNets they take out, Naukri.com. They get through various alumni groups also. They send to alumni groups the details of any project which they require. References, they do a lot of references.
Campus drives?
Yeah, I don't think now they've started campus days. Maybe they will be doing so.
Okay. But as of now, it's not.
Yeah,
there.
it's basically more of this type.
This type, yeah.
So, and since my stint was not very long, so I'm not very sure about the campus part. But these other parts they do.
Other parts they do.
That I'm very sure of, and it's a very good organization, good environment.
Mhm.
So it's basically a nice place to
Nice
work
place.
with. You'll enjoy. It's very challenging, different from what we worked in government
Mhm.
sector. It's a different platform actually, but it's overall it's a good place to work with.
Good place to.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Ma'am, you are an RM student, and being an RM student, it has been a wonderful journey.
Yes.
Now, tell us that what is the scope of today's generation students who are already into MBA in RM or PGDM in RM, or the students who are aspiring to do MBA or PGDM in RM? What is their scope?
See, I would like to say that when we started way back when I passed out in 91, there was very minimal scope. You know, there were not very big NGOs who actually worked in, especially if you take in context of Orissa, it was very bad. Situation was not at all good. But we had good organizations like CARE, UNICEF, UNDP and all. But then the limited numbers of people going to the sector was little, you know, it was not very open to all. But in today's, today's present scenario, the need is everywhere. You find people in government sector, you find people in private sector, you find people in corporate sector, you find people in INGOs, CSR, anywhere you go. Now there is need for RM students because government also, I have seen in last 10 years, government is also in all the departments like may it be forestry, may it be RD, may it be rural management, may it be Mission Shakti, whatever. Everywhere you will find there are RM students. So there are a lot of scope. CSR has taken a big turn in Orissa. CSR mein everywhere you will find a lot of RM people going into big INGOs, middle level INGOs, lot. So there's ample scope. Now people actually, the government is also taking a lot of interest. The corporate sectors are also, they have to spend some amount into the CSR activities.
Exactly.
So they also have to go for good quality students for doing the CSR projects.
So the scope is there in both government as well as corporate.
Yes, right? Scope is huge.
Humongous.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So viewers who are already into PGDM or MBA in RM, or who are aspiring to become RM students, so it is indeed a very good news. It's a great news, as said by Sanghamitra ma'am. So congratulations in advance. So moving on to the next question, in fact the last question, it's the Brahmastra question. Most of our viewers who are watching are students, and they are preparing for job interviews, and group discussion is a part of job interview selection process. I'm sure you must be aware of it.
Yes.
So imagine that you are also a participant in a group discussion, and the topic of discussion is corporate job versus government job. So what will be your analysis, since you have already worked in both the sectors?
See, this is purely by choice. You know, one will select this sector, it's purely by choice. Whenever you get an opportunity to work in a government sector, and as being, I have worked in the government sector for a pretty long time.
24
so
years.
my take would be little different. Person working with different corporate sector, his take would be different, because since he has worked more in the corporate sector, his take would be that to get a better salary, to get higher positions at a very younger age, to get more exposure, not only inside the country, outside the country as well.
Yes.
So definitely these two things are, it correlates, but then it's different, because the work culture is different, the balancing of activities is different, the way of implementation is different, people are different. So definitely there will be a vast difference. So I would definitely say it would go by choice of a person who wants to work in the corporate sector or government sector. But since I have worked in the government sector for so long, and I did it by choice, because I wanted to give some time to my family as well. That was most important for me, and still is. So I preferred a government job, because here I got the opportunity to get some ample time. The pressure, the work function, the work culture is slightly different. So you are able to balance your work and your family. So it gave me that opportunity. So definitely I went for it, and I stayed there for 24 long years. But when I shifted to corporate, it was also by choice. I just wanted to explore the possibility of working in the corporate sector. But I found that my preference would have gone to the government sector than
Government
the
sector.
private sector.
All right.
So it definitely goes by choice.
Great, great. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for the deep insights. Now, ma'am, it's time for a rapid fire round. Okay, let's have a quick rapid fire round. So in this round, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you two options, and out of those two options, you have to choose one. So are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
So let's get started. The first one is multitasking or focusing one task at one time.
See, in today's world, you have to be a multitasker. Otherwise, it's very difficult to, go up in the ladder. For me, being as a lady, as a woman, I have to look after my family, I have to look after my work, I have to look after my house, I have to look after the people I'm surrounded with. My family, not my immediate family. The family is towards my in-law side, my parental side. So, to balance everything and to work in your jurisdiction and to compete and to excel in that, it's itself a challenge. So until and unless you do multitasking, it becomes very difficult to manage the total system.
Wonderful.
So for me, it's always multitasking.
Multitasking. Next question is innovative methods or traditional methods?
Obviously, innovative methods. Until and unless you have some quality innovative methods, you can't go ahead in the system, because traditional methods since last 30-40 years we have been doing.
Yeah.
But keeping those traditionality, I'm not saying that we should completely squash off the traditionality. Traditionality should be there, but on those traditionality we should go for innovation. So innovation is definitely the key to the success of the project.
Wonderful. Next one is challenging role or a relaxed role, having a proper work-life balance.
See, challenging, I would definitely go for challenging, because it gives you to challenge yourself to manage things at your level. So relaxing comes once you are able to handle your challenges, you know how to tackle those challenges, then naturally you try to balance the situation accordingly, you try to time out the systems accordingly. So of course it has to be challenging. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am getting motivated by the way you are answering, and since you also are quite inclined towards challenging roles, so that itself is a very motivating one, and I'm sure that the viewers who are watching us will be accepting more and more challenging roles so that they grow more high, right?
Yes.
So my next one, in fact the last one, that is work from home or work from office. What will be your preference?
I would definitely go work from office. That gives you more, it gives you an environment to work with. It gives you you get a lot of innovative thoughts when you sit in a proper environment of work culture. There's a time management. You go at a time and you come back at a time. All these things matter a lot when you balance your life, when you balance your day-to-day life. Because when you're working from home, it goes from 6 o'clock in the morning to late evening, 9:30, 10, 11.
It's a never-ending process.
Your bosses will say you have to do this, you have to do that, you do it. But when you work from the office, there's a limited year, and to top it all, you get to get in touch with your friends, colleagues. The environment is a little different. You get to
more of human touch.
Yes, and there are a lot of learnings, lot of connectivity. So I would definitely prefer work from office.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so very much for enlightening us, and
thank you,
wish you all the very best, ma'am, and bless us also.
Actually, I'm very excited. I was very excited when you asked me about this, and definitely it's a time for me to start giving back what I've achieved in the last 32 years of my job. So it's very enlightening to come such places and discuss, because as you very rightly said, a lot of people who are in a dilemma to whether they should go for this RM or not and all. But I would say that in today's society, this is the most important part of, if you're really interested to work in the grassroots level, then this platform is good, and I think this show is excellent. So I wish you all the best for taking up this show in a much better way. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. It's indeed an honor having you in my show. A pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
And having a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Arvind.
So that's the end of this episode. So viewers, I hope you enjoyed our conversation. So more such episodes are on the way. So stay tuned to our amazing Corporate Brahmastra show. So see you soon in the next episode. Till then, stay healthy and stay happy. This is Arvind Das signing off from the Corporate Brahmastra Show.